When you first arrive in Lavender Town, you might notice that something seems slightly off in what would otherwise be a quaint, peaceful town. The town seems to be consumed by death, with its largest attraction being the Pokémon Tower, a cemetery for Pokémon, which is filled with ghosts and is also the location where Team Rocket murdered a Marowak. A girl outside the tower tells you, "That white hand on your shoulder, it's not real," if you say no when she asks if you believe in ghosts. All while this is happening, a dark, eerie tune plays in the background, a tune that creates and builds upon a sense of dread with every note. What if, like the town itself, the Lavender Town song theme is surrounded by death? For a long time now, there has been a story spreading on the internet that the Lavender Town theme tune causes something known as Lavender Town Syndrome, or LTS. This illness would be instilled on players by listening to the Lavender Town theme song, and will result in headaches, irrational behavior, or even driving players to the point of suicide. It is believed that the high frequencies in the music, as well as binaural beats, led to this happening, especially due to the fact that children have more sensitive ears. A binaural beat is essentially an illusion caused by different frequencies, or as Wikipedia says, when two different pure tone sine waves, with a less than 40 Hz or so difference between them, are presented to a listener dichotically, one through each ear. For example, if a 530 Hz pure tone is presented to a subject's right ear, while a 520 Hz pure tone is presented to the subject's left ear, the listener will hear a beating at a rate of 10 Hz, just as if two tones were presented monoraurally, but the beating will have an element of lateral motion as well. The many reports of Lavender Town Syndrome's impact cite that over 200 deaths have been caused by the tune. These reports are often called creepypasta, which are essentially urban legends spread on the internet. These many stories all claim to date back to 1996, with many specifically mentioning February 27, the date of the release of Pokémon Red and Green in Japan. Suicides supposedly happened by hanging or jumping from great heights. Now, you're probably thinking, I played Pokémon Red or Blue as a kid, and I didn't feel anything when I heard Lavender Town's theme. Or, Toxobot, you're playing the Lavender Town theme in the background of this video. I don't feel anything, and if it was genuinely bad, surely you wouldn't be playing it. And you'd be right. The version of Lavender Town's song that I put in the background, and that you probably have heard when you played, is from the North American release of Pokémon Red and Blue. According to the many creepypastas, the song was quickly changed and the game was secretly re-released with corrected audio after Game Freak discovered the song's effects on children. Since Pokémon Red and Blue did not release in North America until 1998, these games have always been safe. Additionally, when and how you played these games matters too. LTS symptoms only appeared in individuals aged 7 through 12, and the majority of cases were in children who were wearing headphones while playing the games. The song itself is rumored to have hidden messages that can only be seen in spectrogram outputs, with some stories claiming that special software was used in 2010 to analyze the track and discovered unknown saying "leave now" as well as a ghost sprite. While Lavender Town Syndrome is mainly caused by the song, players also saw specific graphics that contributed to the syndrome. This included the White Hand, which would appear as a Pokemon on the third floor of the tower. The sprite is rumored to have only been a separated, decaying hand. It is said that it is hazardous to view the animations of its two attacks, Fist and Brutal. It's very possible that these animations may have been too traumatic for some viewers. This White Hand may be related to the White Hand mentioned by the girl outside the Pokemon Tower, which I mentioned in the intro. There are also rumored ghost animations that were supposed to be present in the tower. Finally, the Pokemon Tower was also home to Buried Alive, an encounter which was going to be the tower's boss. Buried Alive would tell the player, "You're here. I'm trapped. And I'm lonely. So very lonely. Won't you join me?" Once they reached the top floor of the tower. Buried Alive would have a team of 2 White Hands as well as a Gengar and a Muk. If the player won, the game would freeze. But if the player lost, Buried Alive would say, "Finally, fresh meat," and pull the player into the ground. This would be followed by a game over screen with a Buried Alive eating the player shown in the background. The game would then overwrite the Game Boy's starting animation with this as well, so the player would see this whenever they start the console. Some sources state that some players received a beta copy. Some sources say that this was in the original Japanese release, but nonetheless, later copies printed in Japan, North America, and elsewhere do not have this. So is this true? Is Lavender Town Syndrome a real thing? First of all, let's be real for a second. If hundreds of kids in Japan killed themselves over a video game, there would be global outcry. Game Freak and Nintendo would probably be shut down, and we would see a ton of news reports. In reality, there are no actual news reports, and the only source for information on this is creepypasta wikis, forums, and other fan websites. Now, let's start addressing some specific claims of the stories. First of all, can sounds actually influence your behavior? Maybe. Hellfine claims that binaural beats can reduce anxiety, increase focus and concentration, lower stress, increase relaxation, help manage pain, and more. However, I have not seen any negative effects claimed, and music in general can make you feel certain ways anyway, so it doesn't seem like binaural beats are particularly special. I did find that binaural beats could trigger seizures in some people with epilepsy, but remember, the stories claim it was suicide that killed these kids, not seizures. Speaking of seizures, LTS stories may have been influenced by Electric Soldier Porygon, episode 38 of the Pokemon anime, which actually did contain a series of frames that rapidly alternated between red and blue. This led to an astonishing 700 people, mostly kids, in Japan who, according to CNN, were rushed to hospitals Tuesday after suffering convulsions, vomiting, irritated eyes, and other symptoms. This episode was pulled and never released in the United States. Also, if CNN and other mainstream news outlets such as the New York Times reported on this, then why would they not report on the Lavender Town deaths? Now, sounds definitely can influence your behavior. If I started playing the Baby Shark music right now, you would probably leave, but sounds can't actually control you. It is incredibly unlikely that someone would even listen to the Lavender theme song long enough for it to have an impact at all, and those effects would likely go away the second they turn the game off. But what about the hidden messages in the Spectrogram outputs? Those are also fake. Unknown didn't exist until Generation 2, which was launched in Japan in 1999. Running the original song through a spectrogram would not produce this output, and even if you had some special copy of the song from this beta or original release, is it real? There are a lot of videos on YouTube claiming to be a beta version of the Lavender Town theme, but the Game Boy sound chip isn't even capable of playing a lot of these. Now, I have heard that Lavender Town's theme actually was slightly changed before the American release, but only because Game Freak thought it was too high-pitched and sounded annoying. I can't actually verify this since I can't seem to find a clearly labeled Japanese version of the song to compare online, especially since so many versions of the song online are fake. As for the fake encounters, such as the White Hand, Ghost Animations, and Buried Alive, they're also fake. There's no actual credible source with a video of these happening, and any videos you see are likely ROM hacks. While Lavender Town Syndrome is a truly fascinating story, it is simply not true. If you liked this video, remember to leave a like and subscribe to see more content. If you have any feedback for me, make sure you leave it in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and see you later.